Now, as far as the height of aquariums concerned, my personal philosophy on the height of the aquarium is that any aquarium 30 inches, which is 762 or higher, look absolutely beautiful as long as they're not mine. And what I mean by that is that this aquarium here is 762 deep. It looks very high. If you go and chuck a measuring tape on the wall, for some reason you think, no, that's not high, you need it higher than that. But the reason why I like this height is that you can still touch the bottom. If you start getting aquariums 3 foot and taller, you literally cannot touch the bottom of the aquarium. And that just makes any sort of maintenance much more cumbersome. So if money's not an option to you, and particularly if someone else is looking after your aquarium, go for a really tall tank. They look great. They cost heaps more too, because the thickness of the glass is governed by the height of the aquarium more so than anything else. So the higher the glass, so the higher the tank, the thicker the glass. So as in general, you go up to about 2 foot or 610 in 10mm glass. Then this is 12mm glass. This goes up to 30 inches or 762. Then above that we go into 15mm, and that's very, very, very heavy. So moving a 15mm tank is an absolute nightmare. And then when you go up to sort of meter 20 or 4 foot, that goes into 19mm glass, and the weight of the 19mm glass is so heavy that you pretty much need to build the tank on site. And moving the glass sheets is extremely difficult because of the weight of the sheets. So if I was buying an aquarium, I'd go for 762 high. I'd go as wide as possible. Say if the tank is accessed by both sides, I'd probably say 4 foot would be the widest I'd want to go, preferably 3 foot. And if you went for 762 by 762, it's a very big, impressive and imposing aquarium, but it's also quite manageable. So this tank here is 20 inches deep and 762 high, whereas this aquarium over here is 610 high by 762 deep. So as you can see, it's got a very good surface area. The advantage of having a better surface area is higher redox potential, and once again, this tank is very easy to service. And if you're going to make a coral reef out of this aquarium, the angle of the coral reef would allow all the corals to get the light. Whereas if the tank is if it doesn't have this sort of depth, then basically what happens is the coral reef ends up being very steep. Then all the corals shade each other, so the corals aren't getting the light. So the angle of the reef is going to determine the exposure to the light, and then the exposure to the light is going to determine how well your corals go, assuming you want to put corals in your aquarium. And if you do want to put corals in your aquarium, really going 610 high is the go, because then the light penetration is excellent. If you start going 762, you want pretty serious light to get that depth, and if you start going 3 foot or above, you need a really serious light unit in order to get that sort of punch through the water to allow the corals to grow at the bottom of the aquarium. If you don't want live coral, obviously that's not such a problem. So the higher tanks are more practical without the coral reef. And the other thing is, with the coral reef, you're always adjusting corals, moving them if they're getting stung by other corals or if they're not happy with the position. So moving corals around with apparatuses at the bottom of the aquarium is not easy. So having the aquarium within arm's reach, so being something like this one, which is 762 wide and 610 high, which is 30 inches wide and 2 foot high, is absolutely and really the go. So just be careful if you're going to install a very tall aquarium. If you're going to have a coral reef, really think twice about it. If you're going to have a fish-only aquarium, as I said, it looks awesome, particularly if it's not mine.